HorrorDeconstruction.
Everybody, it's the HorrorDeconstruction. You can find us at horrordeconstruction.tumblr.com, youtube.com/horrordeconstruction, as well as facebook.com/the HorrorDeconstruction with your host Comp and
Wooden Wiener Pony.
Today's film is
PREVENGE 2016.
Prevenge 2016.
Prevenge.
Widow Ruth is 7 months pregnant. While believing herself to be guided by her unborn baby, she embarks on a homicidal rampage, dispatching anyone who stands in her way. Directed by Alice Lowe, written by her as well, starring Gemma Whelan, Kate Dickie, and Alice Lowe. So, why did I pick this film, Danny?
I think you wanted a British version of a French movie
That's right.
that we saw called Baby Blood.
Actually, I figured it out because we did the film.
No, Alison Lowe is the reason why.
Yeah, we did the film A Dark Song a couple episodes ago, and that stars
Sightseers,
yeah, that's the guy from Sightseers. So I figured let's go watch this film starring Alice Lowe, who's the other half of the duo in
Yeah,
Sightseers.
they both wrote
She
that
co-wrote
and starred
that.
in
Yeah.
it, so that's pretty cool.
It's a very good movie, Sightseers, directed by Ben Wheatley. So Alice Lowe is getting a lot of praise for this film, which features a female serial killer, which we don't see that many. I think the only other real female serial killer film, besides we did see Baby Blood. I guess that was a female serial killer.
We've seen a few.
We saw Dream Home. That was a good one. That was a good female
We just
serial
did that
killer film.
stupid one with the prom, the girl going to the prom.
Oh yeah, that was good. Yeah, but I mean,
And then-
a serial killer film where you actually see them doing it instead of just one guy. It's just like multiple people.
That's true. That's true.
But Prevenge is a film.
Angela Baker, idiot. Sleepaway Camp.
Oh, did we? Yeah, that's right. Okay.
Well, she's
wait a
not
minute.
a-
She's
Yeah.
no, wait a minute.
okay.
Yes, she is. According to.
Eventually.
Do we want to get into this argument?
No, we don't want to get into this.
Let's leave it alone.
The first movie, she is not. The second movie, she is.
Oh yes, she is in the first movie. How dare you?
Well, not by choice.
Did
She
she
was
see
forced
herself
into it.
as? All right, I'm getting out of this conversation. So Alice Lowe stars as a character named what? Ruth, right? So Ruth is she is about, what do you think? Is she 8 months pregnant? 9 months pregnant?
No, not 9 months.
No, in the beginning of the movie,
she's pretty pregnant. She's very pregnant.
She delivers the child by the end, but I guess this is like a span of a month or so, because she is getting checked up every other week. So I don't know how many times a woman who's pregnant has to see her gynecologist.
I think she has to go like at least once a month.
Yeah, so I assume this film takes place over a couple of months. It's a very rapid fire film.
Anybody who knows, let us know. We're pretty dumb.
It's sort of a
topics.
It's sort of a stream of scenes that happen with no real plot advancement. And I don't mean to speak ill, but like when I watched
there is a plot advancement.
It's sort of it's a film where you have to figure out why she's you don't have to, but you have to sort of figure out why she's doing what she's doing and what's the point. It's a movie that was very reminiscent of a French film that we saw a while back called Baby Blood, if you want to hear that episode, which was an interesting French horror film.
It's a completely different movie, but the plot is exactly the same.
Yes.
Well, actually, even the plot's not the same, because in Baby Blood, spoiler for Baby Blood, it's like an ancient billion-year-old monster that's inside her.
Essentially,
it's something else.
It's the same premise. That's all it is. It's a woman who's driven to murder by the unborn child within her. Although in this one, it's something else completely different at the end. It's more of a mental thing than it is an actual physical embodiment of or a supernatural embodiment of a monster. She's just a crazy person. Is there a specific term we're supposed to use for a crazy person? I don't know these days.
Whatever.
Anyway, so
Prevenge. PC towards a serial killer?
No, I really don't give. I was being sarcastic. So
okay.
Alice, the film starts out with Alice having a conversation with a guy in a pet shop, and she's checking out all these animals, and this is a hard film to sort of get into plot details, because it's basically one scene after another of her kind of setting up being a meek sort of non-violent person to these random victims, and then she kills them. So there's not really
they're all
anything.
Assholes. That's one thing I can agree with.
Yeah,
with the exception of one guy.
With the exception of one guy, it's sort of like the difference between this and, let's say, American Psycho. The difference with American Psycho is that there's actual scenes of plot progression, not even plot progression, but just character building stuff. In between every scene where he's killing somebody.
And there's like a story.
Right. I'm trying to think of another serial killer film that we've seen that has sequences that are just the kills, and then it just goes on. None of those films aren't necessarily very good unless you're sort of a gore hound, where you want to
Yeah.
watch gore and violence. But this film isn't very gory. It's more just, and I think it's more like a budgetary thing.
It's more just about a. Well, no, I think she was going for like a minimalist sort of indie feeling movie. It's more
It
just
certainly
about
is
the idea of like a crazy person, and are they crazy or is this real?
So we find out how, during the film, because there's not really much to talk about with this film besides, because it's getting a lot of praise. And I could see why it's getting a lot of praise, because it's this type of film that's very subdued, and it's not very...
It's fun, though. It was funny.
It is fun. It's not a complicated film. And it has a dark sense of humor to it, and I wish...
It's got like that dry sort of British thing going on.
Yeah, so Alice, what she sort of dispatches his people by slitting their throats, and you're just seeing these really disgusting people that she meets, that are victims. Like the first guy is this guy at a pet shop, and he's like, everything he's saying is very double entendre and very sleazy, and he's just a gross guy. And she asks him about, she wants to buy this. She's looking for a dangerous pet, sort of for this child that hasn't been born yet. She's telling him that she has a child already. And he's just sleazing it up.
She was really just going in to kill him, though. She wasn't.
Yeah,
and
she ends up cutting his throat, and then it moves on to the next scene. So it's either she kills a person, and the next scene is her at her doctor's office, or just walking around. So it really is.
Pretty much.
If you're listening to this episode, we assume you've seen the film already. And you're probably wondering why we're even doing this episode. Like, I didn't really want to do this episode. I don't know why.
I wanted to do it.
Yeah, I know, but I think it would be like a 15-minute episode or a 10-minute episode. We're just saying, because I don't really have much to talk about this film besides the twist
it's not
of the
a
film.
super deep movie, but no reason why we can't say, hey, this is good, check it out.
There are things that I did like. I did enjoy, like, at the end when she paints her face up because she wants to kill the rock climbing instructor.
Right.
And there's a really cool sort of iconic makeup effect that she has on her face where it looks like this Day of the Dead skeleton face that she has on it. She's wearing this red dress that's like showing off her baby bump. The voiceover of the baby inside her, you can obviously tell it's the actress herself doing the voice, but they...
Oh, is it?
I would assume. It doesn't say anything in the credits, but I assume since she's writing and directing, I think she would just do it herself. I mean, that's what I'm guessing. I don't know.
Oh, wait, no. Baby,
oh, no, Della Moon Sinnott. Okay, so I take that back. But it's somebody whose voice has been pitched, so they can sound like a child in her...
Yeah.
I'm trying to see.
She was only
been in PREVENGE, so I'm trying to figure out who she is. Anyway, what we're trying to figure out basically while watching this film is why she's killing these random people. And what I gathered together is that I think that her husband or her fiance, she was having a shitty relationship with this guy, but we don't find out until after she's done pretty much everything awful to these people, that her boyfriend or her fiance, I assume, was in this, or maybe he was her husband. I really kind of fogged up by what happened in the film.
It was her fiance.
Okay, so he was on a rock climbing expedition, or he was just with a bunch of rock climbing crew, and I think they overcompensated with people. I think they put 9 people when there should have been 8 people climbing this rock surface.
All strapped to one rope.
Yeah, and they had to cut him loose so the other ones could survive. And basically what she's doing, she's hunting down all the survivors of this rock climbing group and killing them all to prevenge. So I'm trying to figure out. I didn't understand. I didn't know whether the word prevenge was basically
she's like
pregnant,
killing.
But it's pregnancy revenge. So I don't know if it's that or what you're saying. Do you know what I mean? I just thought about it right now. Yeah, so it's probably both. So basically, what she's doing is offing these people while talking to her baby. We find out at the very end that she was just having a mental breakdown, maybe some sort of mid-partum depression.
There's some parts of this movie that I fucking love so much, though.
Let's get into it. So she kills she kills 2 people from Game of Thrones, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
She kills, who did she kill? Did she kill
She kills Kat's sister up in the area who gets
Yeah, I'm trying to find that actress.
Game of Thrones. and she kills
Yara.
Yara.
Yara Greyjoy.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's nice to see those two actors. Like, cause I'm wondering, I'm watching like how much does your stock go up if you're in Game of Thrones? I think that's Gemma Whelan who plays Yara Greyjoy.
It
She
was weird
plays
seeing her not as like this warrior bitch lady.
bitch lady. Wow, what a sexist term. You mean an asshole lady? That's what you mean.
That's true. We
She
all have
plays yeah, she
assholes.
plays the character in this film who's a boxing or enthusiast, and I guess they were trying to. It was trying to be some sort of.
She wasn't a very good boxer
Yeah, it
though.
was trying to be dry humor. Like, she's this working out, this lady who works out a lot. Gemma Williams playing a character named Len, who's a very fitness focused woman, and she almost gets stabbed by Ruth and runs off to another room and just puts on boxing gloves and proceeds to punch
Which is so dumb
Ruth in the
because why would you
face.
put on
Yeah, it's
boxing gloves?
that's where it was sort of like a bizarre English type of jokes. You know what I mean? It's like a weird
Yeah.
like it brought me back to the giant pencil in the Sightseers. Like, to me, that's one of the funniest things I've ever seen in a movie because it was so stupid. Where she's writing a letter to her boyfriend using a giant pencil that was like the shape of
Yeah.
her fucking head. That
It's
was
just
funny.
silly. It's
Like
just
here,
silly.
it was a little silly, but I didn't really laugh that loud. I thought it was cute, but it seemed like some sort of weird Z grade sitcom humor for that scene. But I don't know.
It's just really like not funny
Yeah.
on purpose humor.
Yeah, it could be that. And then also she kills it was weird because I thought it was a different actress for 5 seconds, the lady who played Ruth, cuz she makes herself up and she's like in business attire and her hair is all pulled up. And I was like, "Wow, she's hot. Who's she?" And then I was like, "Oh, that's the same lady." I didn't understand
Yeah.
what the fuck was going on. Maybe I got some sort of femdom issue.
Well, I no, I've no, I think it's on purpose. I think in the
Yeah.
scenes where she's like killing people, she makes herself up to look pretty for the.
Well, I mean, she was
That's
brought
like
in.
part of her, like the way Dexter throws on the gray.
I
Bodysuit
get it
and
in, but
everything.
she has her in for an interview. So I mean, they're gonna look at this murder scene and be like, "Who was here last? Who was here when they were interviewing them?" You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
she's not a good serial killer.
It was an interesting thing. There's a scene where I guess it's a play on women versus pregnant women or women that have children and women who decide not to have children in their life and the sort of
They're all like
sacrifice.
guilting her
It was
about
yeah, it was an interesting scene. I like that aspect of it. The DJ guy was probably the best murder to me because it was funny. He was just like a really repulsive scumbag vomiting into his afro wig,
Ugh,
and
God.
he was, and then he kissed her right after it. That was funny.
The mom part was pretty funny. He lives
They,
with his mom, and she like doesn't
yeah.
even like him. She said it to her. She says, get away from him,
So
basically.
what about the roommate scene? That bothered you? You said?
Oh well, no, no, no. I couldn't remember why she killed him, but I realized he was just one of the people on the trip, and he was really nice. So it was like sad for her because she didn't
Yeah,
want
I
to do it.
can't. I can't get the name of the guy. I'm thinking it's Zach, but it
And
might
that's why
not
I
be.
thought it was actually for a
It was
moment I
a
thought maybe the kid really was like some like demon thing because when
yeah.
she didn't want to kill it, but she did anyway for the kid.
She shows up at this guy, one of the people's rock climbers. She goes to his apartment asking, for a roommate, or to be a roommate, and she has a discussion with this guy who's actually very sweet, and we're like, why is she gonna kill this guy? This guy seems pretty nice. Like, you start wondering if you're feeling bad for him, but it's actually his roommate that she wants to kill, but she ends up having to kill him as well by proxy. I don't know how they let her die. I guess she had super pregnancy strength. But
I don't know.
it's an interesting film, but I wasn't like super crazy about it. But I thought it was a fine sort of film. I didn't think it was anything fantastic about
Yo,
it.
but like the scene where she's got her like towards the end, she's got her hands up in the air, and she's just like the whole camera's like panning around her, and she's like walking through the street, and the baby's like, "Don't be too cocky," like or whatever.
Oh yeah,
Like
when
that
she
whole
runs down
part,
the
I was
street.
like so happy because it's so insane. And then at the end, when like she knows she's insane, and then she like smiles all crazy. That's like the best ending for a movie.
What are the things that you loved about this film?
Just like the idea of she's like really good at being insane, even though it doesn't happen until the end. And
What do you think about the
also,
direction and stuff, the writing
it
and the
was pretty
dialogue?
slow and kind of boring, but like it had its little fun parts.
I thought it was fine. I didn't think there was anything spectacular about this film because these people there's people like going back doing backflips about this movie. Oh,
It's
it doesn't
really
really have a high rating on IMDb. It's like a
it's really
6.
dry. I mean, like
It's very dry. Like if you
it's a
like
fun movie. Like I'd watch it like once maybe, but like.
Yeah, I think if you enjoyed Sightseers, you'd like to see this as sort of a companion piece.
Sightseers is way better though.
Yeah, and Dark Song is not a companion piece to either of these films. But I think this is for sort of dry English humor. If you're into that, I'm not. I don't really like. There's actually some dry British comedies that I watch. Like I've never seen much of Monty Python. So people say that's like the best sort of brand of British television.
Right.
And people, and apparently in England people hate Benny Hill, but I thought Benny Hill was pretty funny, so I don't know. So I guess I'm the stupid one.
You
And
are
then
stupid.
but stuff like Are You Being Served, or have you ever seen that? There's a British what's that British show where
The
it's
IT
like this.
crowd.
No, I don't watch that. I couldn't watch that show. Like,
It's
I
actually
watched 3
really
seconds.
funny.
No, I tried, but I just couldn't. It was like that was like super dry. There's this other one where it's like an English this English woman. Obviously, she's an English woman, and she's like called Mrs. Bouquet, but they call her Mrs. Bucket, and she likes.
I don't know.
Oh damn it! What is the name of that show? Ah, whatever.
Absolutely Fabulous or something.
No, I haven't seen that one. Let me just
I
look
saw
up
like
this
one
name.
episode of that, but I don't know the names of the characters or anything.
But other, there's plenty of funny English shows out there, and I really can't think of the fucking name of the show. But anyway, I thought this worked for what it is, but I didn't think it was anything spectacular. Was there stuff that you disliked? Keeping Up Appearances is the name of the show, by the way. That and Are You Being Served are fucking
There's a
awesome.
good British
English,
comedy.
yeah. And then there's one with Ian McKellen, and he plays like a gay guy. I can't believe it because Ian McKellen is like a pussy slayer, and he's like
no,
he's
he
with
is gay.
yeah, Danny, that was me being sarcastic.
Oh,
He was
okay.
like, he's
You
like,
had me like confused for a second.
he has like he lives with his lover, who's these 2 old guys that are in their 70s and they're gay and they're fabulous. I think it's called Vicious. That's a funny show too, and they're
That's
just like
weird.
really.
I'm trying to picture Ian McKellen acting like all outgoing and stuff because I just know him as like Gandalf and Magneto.
You should watch that. It's a funny show. I think it's called Vicious. I can't tell, but anyway,
Okay.
so were there things that you disliked about it or what?
It's kind of slow, like, but no, it doesn't.
Slow in what
this
way?
is like a
In
perfectly passable film. That's what I would say.
Okay, fair enough. That's what I say too. Like I don't know if that's a bad thing or a good thing. I guess
It's not a bad thing.
yeah, because there's things where a movie's boring when it could be good. That's like the worst, I think, indictment for a horror film.
Yeah,
Like
this
there's
isn't
bad.
boring. It's just
not.
like it doesn't wow me, but it's like I would tell people to watch this.
Yeah, I think people could spare this. And plus, it's so funny because it reminds me of my friend. Uh, remember that girl that I told you about to go for an apartment interview? Like there's for some reason she
Oh yeah,
reminds
yeah,
me.
yeah.
Like British girls have bangs. Like there's like a certain type of British girls that have bangs that they
I like
look like.
bangs.
Yeah, me too. No, I love bangs on girls. It was just funny because I was watching this movie thinking about her. I was like laughing, thinking I was like, yeah, there's a lot of British girls with bangs. Like and it's
Yeah,
just
I
like
know exactly what you're talking.
and it's just like really nice bangs, like when a girl has a nice pair of like bangs on her head, it's just really nice. I don't know
You
what it is.
pervert.
I don't mean
You
in a
pervert.
perverted way. I just think it's like a nice, classy English thing. Anyway, so this is a waste of an episode. But what
No,
rating
was it?
would you give this film?
I would give this a 7.5 out of 10. You're an out of shape DJ in
Hey!
your
Oh,
40s.
you're talking about the movie. Go ahead.
In your 40s whose mom still cleans your tidy whities.
I would give this a 6 out of 10. Realizing that the voice in your head, which you thought was your unborn child, is actually just a manifestation of your mental illness, but you still go on and kill your final victim regardless. And with that, Danny, what's the final word?
Bazooka Joe.
The Horror Deconstruction.